About the Redford thing, but I have to move ahead. In the Unresolved Problem segment tonight, rewarding illegal behavior. 7 states will currently give driving privileges to illegal aliens. They are Hawaii, Maine, Michigan, Maryland, New Mexico, Oregon, and Washington State. And here in New York, Governor Eliot Spitzer says he'll sign an order to give illegals licenses, despite 72% of New Yorkers telling him not to do that. With us now, Mike Cutler, former INS agent and currently a fellow at the Center for Immigration Studies. All right, now I just want to talk about security here. I don't want to get into the theoretical, this is right, rewarding bad behavior. All of those are valid. But the much more important issue is, with 8 states, if Spitzer does this, and I don't know whether he will, because there's a revolt here in New York against Spitzer. You bet. There is a revolt. This puts driver's licenses in the hands of people who do not have to produce a social security number, but they do have to produce a passport, a valid passport. Why does that put me and my family in danger?
Well, I worry about third world countries and what they do in terms of issuing passports. There was a story not too many years ago where a CBS correspondent over at 60 Minutes was able to get a passport in a false name issued by a foreign consulate in New York. The bottom line is, if we don't have verification that these passports are valid, and part of the immigration process does that, then we're really
Can't the Motor Vehicle Bureau here in New York they can't? No. All right, so theoretically, you are saying that if Spitzer's executive order becomes reality, a terrorist could come here with a phony passport, get a driver's license, and no New York State authority would know the passport was phony.
That's correct. And then the argument that we hear from the other side is 2 things. Number one, they say they're going to drive anyway, so we're safer. That's baloney. People are going to carry guns anyway. You're not going to give gun permits to criminals. And the other part of it is, when you give someone a driver's license, it's a breeder document. They can open bank accounts, they can create whole new fictitious identities.
And you can get on an airline.
And they don't have to only use that identity. It's not as though, well, now we've tagged them.
No, you can get on a plane.
And they can continue to use multiple other false identities. I've often made the point that changing identities like a chameleon.
But there's another component to the Spitzers of the world. They say insurance. They have to get insurance. They have to do this. They have to do that. We know where they are. But if you have a phony passport, they don't know where you are.
They don't know where you are, and there's no way of having enough people to do the investigations. And you're going to be drawing how many more tens of thousands of illegal aliens into your state, creating a huge haystack in which the bad guys can hide. And when you go to neighborhoods that have lots of illegal aliens, you see lots of businesses that spring up in support of those illegals. The money wire services, the telephone arcades, the mail drops. They're great for dishwashers. They're even better for the criminals. I've spent half my career as an agent going after terrorists and drug dealers. They use those very same facilities to conceal their activities and hide in plain sight among us. So to give people driver's licenses gives them the foliage that they can hide themselves in. And by the way, when you travel by car, if you get rid of the Easy Pass and you pay for gasoline by cash, you could emerge anywhere in the United States by stealth.
Nobody will know where you are.
It's not like booking an airplane trip.
No, I'm buying your argument here that this is a tremendous security problem for the United States. But the reality is 7 states give anybody a driver's license who want it. All they have to do is show a document. It could be phony, and they don't know. So when you have that kind of a situation, as you said, bad people, illegal people will go to, and bad people and illegal people, I'm not saying all illegal aliens are bad, but I'm saying that they'll go and travel to those states, get the documentation, and spread out. So why should we be coming down on Spitzer if the other states are doing it too?
Well, first of all, New York kind of leads the country. Remember, New York was the state that was most heavily hammered on 9/11. New York is also the 2nd most populous state. And, you know, I'm angry at all of the states that are doing this. The reality is that federal law is enforced by local law enforcement officials.
Not anymore.
Well, that's right.
Not anymore.
It's believed that as many as half of the FBI's 10 most wanted get arrested by local cops.
All right, you're a New Yorker.
I'm a New Yorker.
Real fast. Do you have any idea why Spitzer, who put himself up as a tough crime fighter, is doing this? When 72% of New Yorkers don't want
I'd like to simply say brain spasm, but I think it goes beyond that. I think that he's looking for votes, because with the motor voter law, I have no doubt that there will be illegal aliens voting.
Okay, so he's looking for people to get the driver's licenses who will register to vote. They can vote for him, but 72% of the New Yorkers say,
wait a moment. Now, how many Americans don't vote when there's off-year elections? And how many people don't contact their congressman?
Well, I think it's insane. I think Governor Spitzer is through. A year into his 4-year term, I think he's done. And I think this is crazy. Mr. Cutler, thanks for coming in.
Thanks for covering the issue. It's a real important one, Bill.
Plenty more ahead as the factor moves along this evening. One of the biggest